Coming up on this episode of Bro, Do You Even Talk Pinball? It's me. I'm all alone. And I got a special guest. It's the face of pinball. We're going to talk about the latest pinball news. We're going to review Jurassic Park. All that and more coming right up.
Double super jackpot!
I need a ramp. I need a loop. I want targets I can hit. I need the scoop. I need a double super jackpot in my life. That's right.
And now, the Hall & Oates of pinball podcasting, Nick Lane and Kevin Manny of Buffalo Pinball. Whoa, boom shakalaka.
But it's no Nick Lane. It's just me. But I have a very special guest for you. He's coming in here right now. It's the Rudy Soup. Rudy Soup, you got your mic off mute.
I did. I unmuted my mic just for you, Kevin.
Oh, man, what's going on? Rudy Soup, the face of pinball is here. I'm so excited. He's here.
I'm excited too.
It's so nice of you to make some time to talk to us tonight.
Thank you. I was I was doing something just a moment ago. I was watching a Sesame Street video, so I do have other things I would be doing if I wasn't here. Rest assured.
You're a very important person, so I know your time is very valuable. We will compensate you accordingly. But first, Rudy, do you want to help do the partners? Do you know? Can you do the partners? You probably can't even see it if I put it up, though.
I can. I have a thing over here. I won't be directly facing the camera, but
all
I
right.
can give
Why
it a
don't
go.
I start off? I'll do Comet, and then you can take it from there, okay?
All right.
Thank you to Comet Pinball, CometPinball.com, makers of awesome LEDs. We're going to talk about the ones I bought from Black Friday. Coming up next, Reese, take it away with Double Danger.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Double Danger Pinball. Clothing and accessories, he's got it all. Why don't you go visit the site? He does all the best clothes. In fact, also visit his Etsy site. I was just on there today, and he's got some unique offerings on the Etsy site as well that he does not have on ddpinball.com. So check that out as well. But yeah, Double Danger, and save 15% and use the coupon code Buffalo with old DD. He can't wait to get your biz. Next up is the Mod Couple. Got a machine, but it just doesn't have enough of that je ne sais quoi? The Mod Couple has you covered. Check out that site and see. Maybe they've got a special mod just for your brand new machine. From what I saw, they do a lot more of the newer stuff, but they've got great mods. Loved what I see. I believe some of the Buffalo guys even have them. Next out, it's Flippin' Out Pinball. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, Flippin' Out. They'll cover your pinball needs. You want to buy a pinball machine? Check out Flippin' Out. I'm flipping out. All right, next up, Pinside. It's a great place to check out all that pinball information. Want to know what people are talking about? Want to know what people are mad about? Go to Pinside. You'll find it all out. Next up is Jersey Jack Pinball, makers of fantastic pinball machines. Who doesn't love The Hobbit, Wizard of Oz, Fancy a Wonka? Well, they've got you covered. Check out your Jersey Jack. Pinball EDU, that's right. Oh, I want to win a new Stern. How can I do it? I think I'll go to Pinball EDU and try my luck. That's right. With your entry, you might win a Pro Stern pinball machine. That's right, if it's in production, of course. Anyway, Pinball EDU, don't miss it. Excuse me, Community Beer Works, fantastic beer, local beer at Buffalo. We love the Community Beer Works. I actually believe we went there and had beer when we did Buffalo Summer Camp, and I loved it. I can't say enough cool things about Community Beer Works. If you're local to Buffalo or just visiting, stop on by and have some beers. Next up, Pin Stadium lighting. Oh my goodness, if you've ever seen one of my Johnny Mnemonic streams, you know that, boy, you can't see for anything, except for, yes, you can, because I have Pin Stadiums. Pin Stadium is where it's at, and if you use Buffalo coupon code, save 10%. And did I miss any of the other ones? I didn't miss any coupon codes there. Okay, next up, Pinball Arcade, covering your hottest pinball simulations. Don't forget them. They're on Steam. I believe they're on, I'm not sure what the other platforms are. They're on a bunch of the other platforms as well. Check them out. Don't forget your digital pinball. You can play it on the plane. All right, pinballmix.com. I have been fortunate enough to see Pinball Mix in action in a couple of different ways. Saw the one at Pinburg where they had an Iron Maiden and they had mixed in some other metal tracks into it, which was super awesome, as well as Nick Lane's Metallica, which features Collective Soul. They do a fantastic job, really, really good work that they do, and I can't say enough cool stuff about it. And if you use the Easter egg, whatever, coupon code Buffalo, you save 10%. You save 10% and get a free Easter egg. I don't even know what that means. And then finally, Titan Pinball. Great place to get your pinball rubbers. 10% also off with the Buffalo coupon code. I believe, did I say that right, Kevin?
Yeah, I think that was the best reading of our sponsors ever. They're going to be really happy with the Rudy Soup coverage. Before we proceed, I want to turn to the chat. No Moving Parts has nothing but fantastic things to say about Rudy. He says, "You are the face of pinball. Haters gonna hate. 2, your sister is hot. 3, thanks for repping the pinball I grew up with in the 70s. Nice to see you in Buffalo representing the classics." So there you go. Rudy Soup.
Thank you.
So before we get into the meat and potatoes of the podcast here, for those who don't know the face of pinball, and I know that's hard to believe that anybody might not know who you are, Rudy Soup and I met. I mean, we originally got to know each other on Twitch. I used to watch his streams. He used to watch mine. And then we got together at Games Done Quick. And then we got to be friends. And now he streams on the channel. So if you're seeing retro stuff, you're seeing classic games on the channel, it's Rudy Soup. But Rudy, give us your kind of backstory. How'd you get into pinball? What brought you to Twitch? And why are you streaming for Buffalo?
Okay. I'll try and make it quick, too, because I talk about it a lot, so I'm sure some people already heard this stuff. I started playing pinball at a very young age. My parents were pinballers. It was never a competitive thing when I was growing up, but pinball was ever present. For those of you who grew up in Colorado in the 70s and 80s, there was a place called Celebrity Sports Center, and they hosted an obscene amount of pinball machines, even by some of the museum standards today. They just had a tremendous amount to play, as well as all kinds of other things. So anyway, that was a real indoctrination in pinball, and I always loved it. Even as the arcade started to get overrun with video games and pinball started to fall out of favor, even into the 90s, I was still into it. Like Twilight Zone kind of reignited that for me. We were in high school, and the local mall arcade got Twilight Zone, and it just blew us away. I was like, it just gets better and better. And then in college, our student union had pinballs. My parents are originally from Wisconsin. So, and my dad, Chicago and Wisconsin. So pinball was always a big part of their lives as well. So I don't know, it just, not necessarily like we had them or anything, but they were always around, and everybody always just played them. If there was one somewhere, we would all go play it. So fast forward, I lived in New York for a while. Pinball kind of disappeared when I was in New York. It wasn't around. I moved to Minnesota after being in New York for 10 years, and I found it like it's a paradise here. It's incredible how much pinball there is. After I moved to Minnesota, I started doing some online gaming as well. And I met a bunch of friends playing online games, and some of them said you should really try out Twitch just from hanging out in chats a lot. And they said you'd really enjoy it, and a lot of what you do when you talk online in these chat rooms is something that might appeal to Twitch audiences. And I didn't know what Twitch was. So that was about 5 years ago, and I started streaming on Twitch. And I initially thought of doing retro, and then someone had showed me Farsight's The Pinball Arcade, which for many people is their entry into pinball. I had already been in pinball, but Farsight did me a favor because I hadn't really searched exploratorily out in Minnesota to see where there was anything to play, and it was easy. I just downloaded a bunch of my classic favorites from when I was a kid, and now I'm just playing them, and I decided that's what I wanted to stream because I kind of like the pinball community anyway. It was different than the retro community 4.5 years ago. It still is different, but it was very different. Like there wasn't a lot of crossover. So I started back then, and then within about a year, Pinball Joe had noticed me and started hanging out on my channel, and then he got me involved in the Games Done Quick, and that's what brought me into playing real pinball on streams as well. So, and it's just kind of, avalanche from there. Ultimately, I met Kevin through that whole circuit. It's where I've met a lot of pinball people, actually. We've been really fortunate to be involved in that, I would say. I got to meet all kinds of different people, all kinds of really, really amazing players and personalities. And slowly but surely, the Buffalo guys and I just hung out so much that they eventually invited me to come stream for them. And fortunately, I was starting to buy machines anyway, and my love with these older machines seems to complement a little bit because it's covering a spot that it doesn't seem like a lot of people like to stream the old stuff, which is fine. I mean, the new stuff's cool too, but I like this old stuff, so it's nice. And it's great to be here. It's really nice to stream for Buffalo, I have to say. Yeah, man, and it's a shame it's taking this long to get you on the podcast. I know a lot of folks listen to us that don't necessarily watch the Twitch stream, but it's you're a great person to talk to, and it's a blast to have you on. Unfortunately, I was really hoping for the Nick Lane and Rudy Soup chemistry to kind of come together tonight, and that didn't play out because Nick's not feeling well, unfortunly. But it sucks. Nick and I have fun too. That's just it. Nick is such a blast. He really is.
We'll make it happen in 2020. That should be a goal to get the three of us all together on a podcast. But all right, so that's great. So you play digital, you play real pinball. Are you much of a competitive player anymore, or how many tournaments do you do? Or?
Not really. I mean, I'll show up a couple times a year to do tourneys locally. Like, I love Tilt. I work there, as many of you know. So I like to show up, and they do them on Sundays. So it's competitive, but it's just so easy, and you're in. It's an in and out thing. It's not something that's major commitment. I mean, I love Pinburg still. You can count me as long as I can get in. I mean, I'll always go there even if I can't play in the tournament, but it's always a hope to get into that because there's nothing like that.
Yeah, it's the best.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I have to say, and I've said it before, and it's kind of, I'm not trying to come across as a jerk, but Pinburg, it's amazing, but it almost ruined it for me because then nothing's like it. You know, there's nothing else runs like that, and it's just so cool. It really bubbles you down into groups of people where you have real competition, and that you don't feel overwhelmed. You know?
Yeah, and it's just such a cool experience from start to finish. No matter how you play, even if you're in the hospital with tuna for half the time, it's still fun.
Oh man.
So before we move on, you have sort of a movie coming out. Well, your family does, right? So
yeah.
Why don't you talk a little bit about that?
Okay. This is going to sound weird because the people who watch me probably think that I would be really want to be in something like this, or want, because I'm constantly a big mouth and inserting myself and stuff. But I actually have almost no involvement in this. I might be in the background of some scenes possibly, but my daughter, my wife works for Target. Corporately, she's a designer, and she designs clothing for special needs. In some cases, she also does plus size and other things. But one of her big breakout design work has been in special needs clothing, and she's done that. She had a really big year last year where there was a lot that happened with it and got a lot of exposure. And she's started working with different groups, and so they came and made a movie about my wife and my daughter last month here. And that's kind of why I was really busy last month and not streaming as much. And it's actually, this movie is going to be on Hulu. So it's a documentary about my wife and what she does as far as design and things like that. But it also shows a lot of my daughter. And for those of you who watch my stream, you've probably already seen my daughter and whatnot. But it shows, it shows her day to day and what she deals with as someone who lives with autism. And she's emerging verbal, so she's presented with unique challenges. My kid's really, really smart, so she has that going for her. And it's neat. Like I said, they made a movie, and it will also be not just Hulu. I think it's going to be on YouTube and some other places. When it comes out, I'll give a link to where everyone can see it if you are interested in that. It focuses on special needs design and just living with autism and ways that we've adapted our lives that are outside of that familial norm.
Sure. So do you have like any anticipated release date, a ballpark kind of thing at this point, or no?
Right now they're showing it to principals and things like that within my wife's company, everything. They're the ones who were involved in creating this. So I would imagine within the next month or two or maybe 3 tops. It sounds like it's almost ready for submissions. The only real question would be if it will take these places that are going to receive it, like Hulu or buy it or whatever it is, longer to air it because how they want to put it into their own programming. But at 2020 for sure. I would imagine early.
Okay.
So
what's the title of the film? Do you know?
We don't have one yet. I asked my wife for that, and she said it's still in working titles, so what she could get isn't necessarily what it will be. But I'll keep you guys in the loop. Like I said, I'll let you guys know through Buffalo as well what it is. If it's an interest, I know that's not an interest for everybody, but autism, it plays a big role in pinball. My daughter is obsessed. She doesn't play, but she's obsessed with my pinball. She's really into the Johnny Mnemonic. So. And I know a lot of my friends with autism actually are big pinball fans, big time.
Yeah,
so
and you got organizations like Pinball EDU who are doing a lot of work with autistic folks for charity. So yeah, there's definitely a lot of crossover there. So I think there will be some interest from the pinball community, and they want to check it out. So be sure to let us know when it hits, and we'll pass the word along for sure.
Absolutely. I wish I had a little more info for you, but they're still working out some of the details. So
all right, so let's get into some pinball news, shall we?
Here's the tip.
Absolutely.
It's the latest
like
pinball
that.
news. So hot, it's on fire.
All right, we're going to start off with Rick and Morty.
Ooh, cool.
Rick and Morty from Spooky Pinball. And it was really nice of Spooky to drop some hot new info right before our podcast today. So Rick and Morty, if you hadn't heard, it's the upcoming theme from Spooky Pinball, Scott Denisi's latest design. We haven't seen much of it yet. This is a screenshot of, so they put out a little teaser video, and this is a screen grab of the tiny little portion of the playfield that they show. So Rudy, are you a Rick and Morty fan?
I love Rick and Morty big time. Like between Wonka and Rick and Morty, like this must be the decade for pinballs that Rudy's gonna like, because they're finally doing it. You know, I'm pretty pumped.
Yeah. So this is so I don't know, like it's a multiverse under glass. I can't really draw any conclusions from this screenshot. What that might be on the left is so they showed this today. It's the underside of the playfield, and so if you're looking at this on the video version of the show, if you're just listening, you'll have to imagine it in your brain. There's a blue thing near where the flippers go, and so they released this video, or they released this photo of the underside of the playfield, and like people on Facebook were instantly dissecting it. And up by the flippers, there's a blue square, and somebody's like, "Oh, that looks like a Gottlieb pop bumper mech." So I looked it up, and it definitely looks like that. So that might be like the pop bumper near the flippers, maybe. I don't know.
You know what I learned from that, Kevin?
What's that?
That there's definitely going to be light blue lighting in the GI. We're gonna see light blue.
You're gonna get a lot of light blue.
Get ready for it.
There's some subways. That's kind of the thing that stands out when I first look at it. There's also a second trough. So if you look at that subway, it's at the top of the screen that we're looking at. There's a trough like halfway down the playfield. So I don't know if that's gonna like
stage midway too.
Stage balls. It looks like there's an upper flipper. Yeah, so lots of stuff here. It's pretty packed. I don't know what that is in the back. It looks like there's a vertical up kicker of some sort going on back there. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not good at like dissecting the bottom of a playfield, but I will say this looks pretty packed. If I lift up the hood on my Jurassic Park, it does not look this packed. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what's on the other side of this. But what's your hot take on Rick and Morty? Are you going to run out and buy one? Are you the kind of guy that's like, I drop everything and I buy a pinball machine based on theme? Do you want to play it, or what's your kind of take on this so far?
I thought about buying it. I had an interest, and with this particular theme, it would be one I would be willing to buy sight unseen. Also, it's Scott Denisi, Kevin. You know, it's like I have other designers that I might be more apprehensive and say, well, it's maybe hit or miss whether I'm going to like it or not. But I know Scott, and Scott and I like the same stuff. So I think this is going to be a good game. You know, it's kind of like Keith Elwin games too. Like, I knew Jurassic Park was going to be good before they even showed what the playfield looked like, because Keith knows what a good shot is. You know, Scott knows what a good shot is. So I think it's going to be good. I really do. This is one that I would take that chance. Yeah, I just buy it outright.
Yeah, and well, they're only making 750 of these,
which I think is going to be. I think honestly, I'd be surprised if it isn't sold out now. I know that you may not agree with that, but like I really. And I'm not talking about pinheads. I'm talking about just Kevin, sorry, I had some pizza arrived. Oh, pizza showed up here. Oh my!
He just dropped the pizza on his computer. He did it.
That's okay. It was on Future Spa actually, but that's all right. Oh, lovely. Anyway, it's my wife must have just pulled that out. I didn't realize that hadn't settled yet. Anyway, yeah, I don't know how you could go wrong if you're into the theme. Okay, if you like Rick and Morty, I don't think Scott's going to let you down.
Yeah, so it's definitely going to take off, right? Because they posted this on Twitter, and like I was one of the first people to retweet it, and then the next time I looked at it, it had like 500 likes and a bunch of retweets because I think the Rick and Morty Twitter account shared it. So this is blowing up. So that's the like power of a theme and a license, right? Total Nuclear Annihilation is not going to get that bump that something like Rick and Morty will, right? So they've got this boutique pinball company, and they know they've got a good thing with Scott Denisi, and now they've paired that with with a great license. And so I think, yeah, you're right. This is going to sell out like that. They're going to get a whole bunch of subscriptions to their fan club, which I'm sure they are. I would be shocked if they didn't already have like 750 members of that, right? People who want it, because there's this like, oh, I need to have it immediately. We saw it in Discord. People are like, I have to buy it. I'm in the fan club. Get me in there. It's the power of the thing. We haven't even seen the playfield yet. We saw the bottom of it. But so people are losing their minds. I'm not a Rick and Morty fan. I did, after this was announced, I watched the first episode, and it's cool. And I like Dan Harmon. I was a big fan of Community, the TV show. So I can see that this is going to be something I like. So, but maybe down the line, once it's a secondhand kind of thing, especially if it sells out before anybody even sees it. I definitely am the kind of person that like, I want to play a game. I want to get my hands on it, make sure I love it. Then I'll maybe fork out the $6,000 for it, right? So these are big investments, and you can't just I can't just throw $6,000 at a game that I've never seen.
Well, there are certain people out there who always buy them anyway, and they usually flip them quick. I mean, I know a few collectors who are like that. Not all of them, but a few who they have to have everything, and then they seldom keep most of them. Even the themes are, I'm like, oh, why would you sell that? But they like to move through. They just like the news. So I think even though it's going to be a coveted machine, I do think there will be an aftermarket fairly early on it, just because there's people. It seems like that. I see people I see pinball sell for after they're like, there's only 100 plays on it. And it's like, how do you even know if you like it? Yeah, you know what I mean? How do you know if you even like it if you've only played it 100 times?
I know. I saw a Hobbit Smile Gun Pinside with 33 plays on it yesterday. I'm like,
and they're getting rid of it?
Oh, and they're already selling it. It's like, okay, so there's definitely that collector market that just, they're like, I'll buy it and then I'll play it a couple times, then I'll sell it and get whatever is new. So that's what, I think Skip Natty said this in the Discord. He's like, there's never been a game you can't buy after the initial run sells out. They always come back on the market. You're always going to find something secondhand if you need to. So it's like just easy. Like I'm super happy for Spooky that they're going to sell all these. It's going to be great. The other thing to consider is like they only make like 10 games a week. So if you're number 750, you're going to be waiting like a year and a half to get that game.
Well, that was something I was thinking about, and I'm wondering because they're doing doing basically double a run almost for them, from my understanding of their historical numbers that they've sold. If this is a double run, do you think that this is going to be the move where they actually expand their lines a little bit so they can do more than that many machines a week or whatnot?
It doesn't sound like it. I've seen posts from Spooky saying, this is our size. This is we do 10 games a week. This is what we do, and we're happy with the size we're at. So I think
that's totally cool. I guess it's a little bit of a bummer just because it's like, honestly, they're getting the coolest themes right now, dude. You know what I mean? Like, they're nailing down the theme. I didn't think anyone would ever do Rick and Morty. They're doing it, and it's like, wow, they'll take any chance. I mean, they might. Who knows what they do next that's even cooler than that, Yeah.
So given you're a fan of the show, like, what would you want to see in a Rick and Morty pinball machine? Like, we know it's going to have the audio call-outs from the actual voices in the show. It's going to have the art from the show. What else would you love to see in there?
Rick and Morty is a show that has enough depth to it that there's going to be things in it that are going to be the obvious things that are basically the Coke and Pepsi of the show. Like, it's going to have Meeseeks in it because everybody talks about Mr. Meeseeks. So it'll have those things that are the regular items that everyone and Birdman's going to be in it, or Bird Person, excuse me, not Bird Person is going to be in it, I'm sure. A Squanchy, it's got to have Squanchy in it. So these pivotal players who Rick has dealt with. The one thing that I'm hoping to see, and I really hope they nail it down, there's a Rick and Morty that deals with a video game called Roy. And basically the game it's like, Nick Lane would love this. It's virtual reality where you live a dude's life. And it ends in the end, usually in a really depressing, awful way. Like Morty does Roy, and he lives through the guy's life, and he ends up falling off a carpet roll and breaking his neck at the end as an old man, but fairly unsatisfied with how his life worked. And that's the video. You play some guy's life and die at the end, and that's the game. I love it, and I would love to see them do like a video mode with Roy in it. That would really be a lot for me.
Yeah, so. Nick is a big fan of this show, so You know who else is Adam Becker is too, so I would be shocked if he doesn't end up with this. That's like how I first started like seeing this everywhere. Is I would see Adam would always have a Rick and Morty shirt on, and then we went to do IFPA 15 at his place, and he's got the Pickle Rick posters up on the wall. I'm like, what the hell is this? Why am I seeing this everywhere?
And Pickle Rick is really okay. There's going to be Pickle Rick for sure because that is an amazing episode as well. So yeah. See, you're calling them out too. You don't even necessarily watch that.
Right,
much of them,
exactly.
so.
I know what it is, and I've never even seen that episode. So it's reached that point, at least within the geeky communities that I hang out with. It you see it. You know what I mean? So we'll see. They're saying Christmas for the launch date, or I don't know if it's on that graphic that I have. If it says no, it doesn't say there. But at the end of the video, it says Christmas. So I don't know if that means. I've heard rumors that they have some built, ready to ship. I don't know how many, if they actually do, or if they're just going to reveal it by Christmas.
When is TPF? Because Scott says it's going to be playable at TPF. For sure.
That's usually in March, I believe.
Okay, so we know they'll have them in 3 months, but that they will, of course, if they're announcing them anyway. And we knew that they were wrapping up TNA, so.
Yeah, exactly. So they're in a good spot. They wrapped up TNA. They're wrapping up Alice Cooper as well. So they're ready to roll on this, I think. All right, so let's move on to the next big topic, which is going to be. Oh, this is the other thing. It's there's a little sneak peek of the side of the cabinet, and you can see that there's two flippers, so you could sort of see the side of. This was somebody posted this on Pinside. I don't know. So there you go. More to come. Retro Atomic Zombie Adventureland. Oh boy, how hyped are you for RAZA?
I can't wait. You know, I'm a big J-pop fan of his older stuff. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed that this is going to deliver like that same kind of feel. Like I know that Zidware aside, I know that everybody has their own feelings about J-pop's golden era games. You know, there's his 90s stuff. Some people think they're really too easy or whatever, but I don't know, man. I feel like his theme goes a long way. His games are really immersive. I hope this is the same.
Did you see any of the video footage of this that came out after the Houston show?
I didn't, but I was reticent to even watch it because I feel like they even kind of said like a lot of this is very prototypey and this is not even, you don't look at this as the final at all. So I'm just kind of not looking at it at all, you know?
Yeah, I hear you. It's hard to not, for me, it's especially to not look. So they definitely said like cabinet art and even like the cabinet style is prototype. The final product is not going to look like this.
It's cool, but I can't wait to see what they really do with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's like people can't not see what you're showing them either. So it's like you show me this is all I don't care how many times you explain it. You put pictures on the internet, people react to them, right? You can say prototype a million times. Like these toys and stuff are obviously very 3D printed, not production quality toys.
Yeah. Well, that's my next part too. Is J-pop games have a lot of toys in them. These seem like they got quite a bit, but because it's prototypey, will there be more? Because he really likes to load machines up, you know?
Right. And it's got, I don't know. It seems the title is Retro Atomic Zombie Adventureland. I said RAZA before, but that's what it is. This is one of the games he had planned under his prior company, Zidware. Deeproot bought J-pop, brought him on board. I don't know if they bought out Zidware or whatever the deal was, but this is one of the titles that was kind of under development back then. So it's got this right ramp on it. Let me see if I got a good photo over here. Yeah, so the ramp that you're seeing like with the airplane on it, it kind of twists around and goes up, and it's like as soon as I saw this, I was like, how the hell are you ever going to make that ramp? And it's got the little cutout on it, kind of like, I think of like Tales of the Arabian Nights. If you don't quite make the ramp, sometimes it falls off. It's got that in the middle of it here, and it just goes up to the top, and it looks like it hits a target or something, or drops down. I can't quite tell. But the videos I watched, like it would go up like halfway and come back down, and go up and come back down. So hopefully, the word on the street was they were using Houston to like test out and gather data, and hopefully they're kind of going to use this to get some beefier flipper coils on there. Or
well, they didn't need to take it to Houston. They could have sent me a picture, and I could have told them that ramp was not doable. I actually thought that there was some kind of magnet whip there, that they had some magnet above field, and that if you got it halfway, it'd whip it the rest. Because I could have told them that that's not attainable, that ramp.
Yeah, it needs a magnet assist like No Fear or on the multimorphic
exactly.
Cosmic Kart Racing. It needs that, or they have to do something else with it. I don't know. Or it's just going to be, I could see it being an unsatisfying shot, right? It seems awesome. Like, oh, look at this cool loopy ramp. And then if it goes up and it comes back down, it goes up and it comes back down. It goes up.
I had thought that it fed up from the back and fed down, like it was a, like a reverse ramp, but apparently not.
Yeah, when the pictures first came out, you're like, how does this work exactly? And then you see some gameplay, and it's like, all right. The other thing that was kind of weird is the plunger kind of just like plunges out from the right into the middle of the playfield, and it's like, all right, let me get this under control and figure out what to do. I don't want to say it, but it kind of reminded me of Star Wars.
I was gonna say it's a very popular plunge style these days. I was watching a video of Thunderbirds today. It was just a cute little Thunderbird video, and it did that too. It was a plunge right into the center drain.
It's not fun. It's got some interesting. So it's got a Ferris wheel on there, kind of like was it Hurricane's got the Ferris wheel on there.
Got a zombie with like 4 million guns on both of his arms there.
Yeah, exactly. It's got the little swinging target from 1959 or whenever the last time one of those was used. But
I love those.
They did say that this was this did not have the innovations, the Deeproot innovations. So I guess we'll see what those are, because I'm not seeing a lot of innovation in the playfield itself. The speaker panel is kind of cool. It's got a long, narrow speaker panel. It's like think of like the remakes of Attack from Mars and Medieval Madness that have the big display on there. It's kind of like that, but even a little bigger. I do wonder, it's got the speakers kind of jammed underneath it, and I wonder how good the quality is going to be on small speakers like that. But I guess if I'm looking at my Jersey Jack ones, and those aren't much bigger either, and those sound great. So maybe they'll be all right. It's hard to say, especially, it was at a show, so you can't hear it well to begin with, and obviously I haven't heard it myself, so...
Those seem under-stylized. I really wonder if they're going to make those like something special when they come out. You know what I mean? Like laser cut or something like that. Because look at that.
Yeah, it's just like a steel faceplate right now. It looks cool, but it's definitely not. There's not a lot of style to it, right?
Yeah, compared to the rest of the game, it's very low style. So,
all right. So to be continued. So bottom line is this is the first game we've finally seen from Deeproot. I'm not seeing the 200 innovations that they touted, but it's only a prototype. They said that a million times. But we got to talk about what they showed us, and that's what they showed us. In the end, it's still just a pinball machine, kind of like Willy Wonka. Everybody got all hyped up for that, and guess what? It's a pinball machine. They're still going to be pinball machines, and if they're not, they're going to be something like the P3, and then everybody's going to freak out and say it's not pinball. So it's like people say they want innovation, but do they really? I think they really just want pinball.
Yeah, they like it. I think what they mean is innovation is they want you to recreate their favorite tables with different themes.
Exactly. All right. So, you know what? I didn't load up Chinese zombies in my
oh no
slideshow.
But we got R2D2 Topper, and that's kind of like that. I'm just
Well,
kidding. I saw that.
You saw the Chinese zombies. We can talk about it at least.
Sure.
So this is from...
wasn't much to see. He blurred out most of the details aside from the art. You saw that, right?
Yeah. So it's like let's give the backstory. This is Homepin, makers of the critically acclaimed Thunderbirds pinball machine. Everybody loves it. And what?
Sorry.
What?
Sorry. Well, it's great. It's a great game. Great.
It's great. Attack's calling me a hobbyist in the chat with his highlighted message. It's really throwing me off. So critically acclaimed Thunderbirds, the pinball machine that hurts the touch, Thunderbirds. They're coming out with game number 2, and it's apparently a game designed mainly for the Chinese market, but not exclusively for the Chinese market, according to their Facebook post. And it's Chinese zombies. Apparently somebody took that backlash, it's all in Chinese, translated it, and it translates to Chinese zombies or something like that. And it's got Chinese zombies on it, and maybe coming to an arcade near you. But they, like Rudy said, they smeared out the playfield so you couldn't see anything like that. You could see kind of like a piece of a wire form, and I was trying to see.
Yeah, I was going to say I could detect ramp because of the slope of the game, and there was parts where in the blur where you could detect there was definitely rampage.
Yeah, so I was trying to determine if it was just a reskin of Thunderbirds, and I don't think it was, which is probably for the best, right? But we'll see. I really wanted. I'm disappointed we didn't get Nick Lane's hot take on
I mean,
Chinese
it would have been
zombies.
good. Good luck. You know, my thing. I'll say this to Homepin. Good luck. Have fun. Huh? Good luck. Have fun.
GLHF, buddy. There you go. So we talked about it. All right. Let's get to. Well, before we get to Star Wars Stopper, we teased it there.
right.
I want to talk a little bit about the Wi-Fi beta that I'm in for Jersey Jack Pinball. So Jersey Jack is rolling out Wi-Fi capabilities, Wi-Fi and Ethernet, if you want to hook up wired to your pinball machines. Basically, internet capabilities for your pinball machines that they're starting out with the ability to do updates over it. So they just recently they started out with Wonka, then they did Pirates, Dialed In, Hobbit, and Wizard of Oz. So now all the games have support for it. I have all three of my games. I have a Hobbit, Dialed In, and Pirates. They're all updated with the beta code. And so what you do is you have to download an old school update that you install first. And once that's installed, it adds a menu system to your pinball machine that gives you network capabilities. You can select your network, log in, test your connections, all sorts of stuff like that. Once you're connected, you can go in and then actually check for updates. If it finds an update that you're not on, just push the start button. It's like, do you really want to install this? You say yes. Click it again, and then you're good to go. It's super fast, super easy. Now that it's on my games, I'm like, I never want to do a USB update again. I'm very excited to see this happening, and hopefully they will do more along the lines of like more internet connectivity. So for an internet connected
Welcome to 2010 pinball.
2010, we're really doing it.
You did it.
Yeah. So at what was it? I don't know if it was at Houston or one of the recent shows. Pat Lawler gave a presentation and he said, "We have a full PC in our machines and we're not afraid to use it." Right. So this is one of those features. They're like, it's a PC. Why don't we have internet capable updates? So it's just a little Wi-Fi dongle that you plug into the port where you would normally plug in your USB drive inside the machine. For Dialed In, you have to take out the dongle to play with your phone. I don't know if eventually you'll be able to just plug it into another port on a computer or something like that. But right now, during the beta testing mode, they're not allowing the Bluetooth dongle to be plugged in. So
A lot of phone players are going to be pissed about that. I'll tell you that one, Clark.
I do like playing with my phone. It's fun to stream every once in a while. Not a highly utilized playfield feature though. But yeah. So it's been cool. It's been interesting to kind of personally interface with some of the programmers along the way while they're doing these updates and be able to kind of provide some feedback. And I've broken some stuff and told them how I broke stuff. So that's what beta testing's all about, is you want to try to break stuff so when it comes out to everybody, it works. So it's been kind of fun to be a part of that. So coming soon to a Jersey Jack pinball machine near you. All right. Are you ready for Topper Talk? I know Rudy Soup loves some toppers, so let's talk toppers. It's the long-awaited R2-D2 topper for Star Wars that came out, 2 years ago, right?
Look at that pile of shit, dude. Look at that pile of shit.
It's $750, Rudy. It can't be a pile of shit.
Look at that thing, dude.
The thing, too, is like, it is exactly the topper that we saw 2 years ago. So folks were speculating that, it hasn't come out. They must be doing all these revisions to it. It's going to be even better. No, it's the exact same thing. It's R2-D2. His head turns, and
does he light up too?
He lights up, and he goes beep, beep, boop, 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 probably. And there you go.
Does he make it so it doesn't plunge into the outlanes of the drain?
He uses the force, and he keeps the ball from plunging into the outline. It's great.
Oh, wow. What do you think about it? As someone who actually might entertain, well, maybe not a $750,
not for $750,
but as someone who entertains toppers, what do you think?
Rudy and I were talking at one point about this, and I was like, if they make an awesome topper for Jurassic Park, kind of along the lines of the Black Knight one, and it's not $750, I would entertain it, because that's a game I like a lot. Spoiler alert, we're going to talk about it later. But it's like, for that price, no, on that game.
Dude,
Not a chance. Not a chance. I do not think they're going to sell a lot of these. They really missed their window of hype, right? When people get a machine that's new, that's when they want to spend all the money. They're doing the same thing with the Jurassic Park plunger, the light up amber shooter knob. I was like, I want that. It's awesome looking. I keep trying to buy it and it's out of stock and I can't buy it. It's like, well, eventually I'm just going to be like, forget it, because I always end up using the button to plunge on it anyways because it's more reliable on my game. So
I saw that. That thing actually looked cool. I'm not usually a big plunger guy. I kind of like these old school ones, like the Bally ones with the spikes on the end of them so people can't slam them or anything like that. But that Art Deco stuff. But I have to say, I think those are cool with the little amber rocks. I didn't realize they lit up too. Like that's a pretty cool plunger.
Yeah,
that they have.
Normally I just keep my plunger stock. I have a couple of the Chrome Candy knobs that Ben gave me. Those are really cool. But yeah, all the rest of mine are just regular because I'm like it. A lot of time I do not like the stick the Jackie head on the shooter knob and then it feels weird and I can't get my plunges right. Like the most ridiculous one is the one on for Jersey Jack Pirates where somebody took like a gun handle and attached it to the shooter rod. Have you seen that one, Rudy Soup?
No.
Dude, I gotta show you that. No. It's Chrome Candy. There he is in chat. And it's so heavy and ridiculous that it you can't plunge right on it. It's like, don't do that to your pinball machine. I'm not going to talk
about you know which one I saw today that I'm not going to talk about that I was just like, oh my Lord. There's some funky plungers out there. All right?
Just keep
enough of the funky plungers.
Standard plunger, a little ball is okay, but weird heads and stuff, no thank you.
I'm a traditional. Listen, I know I'm old fashioned, whatever.
Yeah, I'm right there with you.
Whatever.
So, all right. Let's talk about the Coin Op Classic. Rudy Soup, did you watch the Coin Op Classic this weekend?
I watched quite a bit, actually. I got a 5-minute timeout as well. Pretty proud of myself. So, but
you and your Game Genie talk.
I showed up for the good stuff. I'm sorry I wasn't there for Tuna, but Tuna was basically doing most of his stream during my sleep time. I just missed yours. And then I saw Marty's, and Marty's was sensational.
He was on fire. So
talk about delivering, right?
Yeah, really. So the Coin Op Classic it's on a Twitch channel called Retro Gaming Live TV, and so what they do is for a whole weekend they have classic arcade games streamed on their channel for nonstop for like a day and a half, basically. And so we got in as a part of that. It was me, Skip Natty, and Mixer Tuna. We all did runs on pinball machines during this classic arcade marathon, which is kind of cool to bring pinball to a different audience and also to, just have a chance to be a part of a bigger event, right? So they typically have between 300 and 500 people watching most of the weekend. During pinball times, it dipped down a little bit because they're like, oh, pinball, I'm going to sleep. It was also like 2 a.m. Mine was at like 3. Skip was at like 3:30. He went live. This is Eastern time. So yeah, it was middle of the night. Tuna started off by doing like 2 hours of Miss Pac-Man, which was ridiculous. And he almost kill screened it. It was like he had a ridiculous last Pac-Man dude. He almost pulled it off, but he was trying to kill screen it. But then he switched from Miss Pac-Man to Wizard of Oz, where he was trying to get to melt the witch. He got there. He didn't quite melt her, but almost pulled it off. Not an easy task. Then I went live on Addams Family because I'm a wimp and I went for something super easy and I went for Tour of the Mansion. Shocker, I pulled it off. And then we threw it to Skip Natty, who was like, screw this, I'm going to beat Reactor 9 on TNA. And he did it first attempt, crushed it, 1cc, he did it. Skip Natty.
No death saves.
No death saves. No death saves, 3 balls. All legit. Tilt warnings were on. Yeah, totally legit. So if you want to see that, it's on the Retro Gaming Live Twitch channel. I put a highlight of Skip Natty's on our Twitter account. And so they're going to be eventually putting those up on YouTube if you want to see them later too. But the Reactor 9 run was hype. And see, the thing, like streaming to an audience that doesn't know the ins and outs of pinball, like when we stream, we have pinball people who watch us. When we stream on their channel, I liked it because I got to explain a lot of what I did. And I didn't feel like I was like, oh, everybody knows this. I was explaining drop catches and bounce passes, and Skip was talking through his whole run. And when he beat that Reactor 9, the chat just blew up. They're like, that's amazing. Even though, this audience that they're not hardcore pinball players, they understood the situation and how difficult it was. And it was just so much fun to see. So Skip Natty owns TNA. He needs to have his name in there. Is that you, Skip Natty? Right?
He gave it a real hot Marty, Kevin. He really did.
It was really the hottest of Martys. So good job. So I want to talk about, that was a fun thing that we did over the weekend. Would I do it again? Absolutely. I would, preferably not at 3 a.m. It was weird getting up and having to, I woke up at like 1, took a shower, had a cup of coffee, pretended I had a bowl of cereal. I pretended like I was waking up for the day. And then I was like, I came out here to play and I felt like I was like 5 seconds behind the ball. I was like, all right, I gotta get this together before I go on live and do this in front of everybody. So, but eventually it came together and I kind of got into the zone, but it was fun.
Adam's family's hard too. You didn't give yourself enough credit. Touring the mansion, I mean, it's if you get the feel for it, yeah. But like, I know a lot of people who've never done it ever, so it's not that easy. You know?
I'm pretty good at my game. Like, I'm good at it's pretty reliable too. So that game, like when you're getting the kickouts from the scoops and stuff, if they're not consistent, then it can be a huge pain. Mine are really consistent, so it makes it a lot easier. So there you go. That's the Coin Op Classic. Check it out. And if you like classic arcade games, they got a bunch of it too. All right, let's move on to so another stream thing I wanted to cover was on Jurassic Park. So Stern uses some weird connections on their machines. And so like when I stream TNA or Dialed In and Pirates and all those games, I'm able to use like HDMI and VGA and standard connections. They use a weird connector. And there's a thread on Tilt forums where folks have been trying stuff for like 2 years to get it figured out. Using that thread, I was able to get the direct capture working. There was a few tweaks. So Monday I did a stream with it. It was freaking out a little bit, so I need to tweak it a little bit more. But I do have a guide written up that I will be releasing once I get the details figured out, and once Skip Natty's going to do it on his machine too as a test. And then once we have the kinks worked out, we're going to release that to everybody. So keep an eye on buffalopinball.com for that. We'll share the link on all our social media when it's ready. But if you stream and you want to stream a modern Stern game and get a direct capture of the video feed, we're going to hook you up. We're going to tell you how to do it. And links to the exact pieces you need to buy.
You know what? There's been a wall of secrecy for a while here, and it's disgusting me, Kevin. You know, it's time to break that wall down and share the direct capture with everyone.
Oh, Pinball Undesirables has the new emotes. Look at those. The hot Buffalo Pinball lightning flippers.
Is that peanut butter underwear? Hello, peanut butter underwear. Welcome to the podcast.
So there's, for people watching on Twitch, there's bit emotes now. So if you've given enough in bits, you get special emotes. There you go. Thank you for your support, and use those flippers wherever you go. All right.
Those are fancy.
Let's give here's some Rudy Soup can help me talk about the digital pinball update. So there's been some hot new digital pinball action, right? With Zaccaria's Red Show Deluxe. You play that way more than I.
I'm number 2 in the world, Kevin, so I'd love to talk about Red Show Deluxe.
You're the
number
face.
2 in the world.
You are a Zaccaria VIP, so am I.
Zaccaria Pinball, for those of you who have any interest in the Zaccaria machines, and this is my big digital pinball selling point, is that pinball is not everywhere. Even though we love it, it's definitely not everywhere. And for a lot of people, it's very inaccessible. So it's really great that we have these online simulations, be it TPA, FX3, or Zaccaria. Now, Zaccaria is almost more so because good luck if you live here in America finding some of those to play. They're not really a whole lot of them around. So simulation in some cases is all we get. Zaccaria or Magic Pixel does the Zaccaria stuff online. You can get it on Steam, Xbox, is it Switch as well?
Switch is on, yep.
Okay, Switch. So they actually have all of the Zaccaria tables recreated, so you can actually see them. Where, like I said, good luck finding them. I mean, if you could find them in the wild, great. I live in a very big pinball place, and there are none on location here, so at all. So you could play them, but now that they've completed doing all of the simulations, they've moved into you do some recreations of their own, and now they have this new deluxe table that has nothing to do with Zaccaria called Red Show Deluxe, and it's basically pretty much like a modern pinball table, and it's just a lot of fun. It's very interesting game to play, and Magic Pixel's actually pretty much gotten the multiplayer down, so that's actually a pretty big deal in the digital pinball world. A lot of guys have been trying to do it, but it's hard to mesh up that head-to-head experience, and Zaccaria did it. So if you like playing digital pinball at all, or you want to try the Zaccaria tables, not only do you get the option to try all those out and try that new content, but beyond that, you can even play with your friends. So, like, at the same time.
Yeah, so if you go back on Skip Natty's stream this past weekend, we did a 3-player stream, you, me, and Skip. It was a lot of it's a lot of fun. It's cool because you can watch the other players as they play too. So when it's not your turn, you can see what they're doing. And it's executed really well. It's super fun. And Skip and I are going to be doing that again Saturday morning because we have to get our tournament entries in. So yeah, so that's $2.99. Zaccaria's Red Show Deluxe. Check that out. The other thing they came out this past month is Pinball FX Williams Pack number 5 with Tales of the Arabian Nights, No Good Gophers, and Circus Voltaire. So Pinball FX has the rights to do all the Williams games, so they're recreating all the stuff that used to be on Pinball Arcade, but is no longer available there. So I know you've been playing a lot of those, right? What's your take on that, especially compared to the Pinball Arcade stuff?
I like this pack. Every pack is different, honestly. It's crazy. It may sound weird. And because the physics don't necessarily change. They're pretty much concrete for FX3. There's 3 different ways to play it. 2 of them have that more real ball. The ball's much faster. It's not floaty or anything like that physics. And then one has more of these. I think it's just the Zen 2 or the FX2 physics. And those are the modes also where there's animation and the tables kind of come alive, if you will. Whereas the other 2 modes are true to the original table. There's no digital magic going on, if you will. It's just the straight table without like scoring or like there's characters that move around on the FX2 style physics one. But anyway, I really like the Pack 5. Once again, I already kind of revealed that I do enjoy the John Papadou games from that era. But I found specifically with Tales of the Arabian Nights, I had a lot easier time making all the shots. I was good on TPA. I mean, I took that thing well past wizard mode, blah, blah, blah on TPA, but it feels a little smoother with FX3, honestly. And they add that, even if you have the TPA ones, with their extra add-on as far as how they kind of bring the game alive with the animations and stuff, it kind of takes some of those older games and makes them feel a little bit new again, if that makes any sense. So
yeah, I do. I like the kind of animated things, and the things they do make sense, right? It's got like the fishermen on fishtails and stuff, and it's really well integrated. So it kind of brings.
I brought that up too. That I was concerned that when they were doing this, they didn't necessarily have anything to go on, so they're kind of just going on the fly on what kind of characters to add in, and I think they do a really good job with that.
Yeah. It brings a little bit of the digital pinball onto the real machines, which I really like a lot.
Excuse me.
It's cool. All right, so a few little pieces of Buffalo news. If you ordered a hoodie or a hat, thank you very much. I checked with Robert from Double Danger. He said hoodies are being printed and going to get the patches sewn on. He's having to change the embroider for the hats because they're running behind, but he's planning to send them out this week. So Rudy, you ordered like 13 hoodies, didn't you?
Hey, I got 4 hoodies for sure. My wife, I'm wearing the only one that I had from the last go round, and my wife loves to wear my clothes, and it's dirty half the time when I want to wear it. So I was like, this time I'll buy enough for me and her. That way, when she's stealing my stuff, I still have some for me.
Buffalo Pinball swag so hot, your wife's gonna want to steal it. So buy 2.
She also, I had to put like that pinball, or not the SGDQ one, this custom one Joe's made for us. I basically said, you can never wear this. This is like a prop, so stop, because she was wearing that all the time too.
Yeah, it's got the embroidered Rudy soup on it and stuff. Yeah, it's really cool.
You have yours as well. Like we all got those from that thing. That was kind of a
awesome
thing.
All right, let's talk game room updates, Rudy soup. Why don't you kick it off? Just kick it off with. Give us what's in your lineup, because people don't know what's in your game room. So what's in the lineup, and what have you been up to recently in your game room?
Well, recently I have been really trying to be good and not buy anything, because I was like on a tear the past 2 years. Like I acquired 11 machines in the past 2 years. My current lineup that I have is Future Spa, Maverick, Harlem Globetrotters. What is it? Is it Big DS? Big Deal, which is a Williams EM. Johnny Mnemonic, a Vector, Nitro Ground Shaker, Matahari, a Gottlieb Atlantis Wedgehead, though I'm not sure what repair that is, and I have to still get that thing open. I have a Hang Glider EM and Future Spa. I don't know if I just named that, and then World Cup
or no, yeah, World Cup soccer up or not World Cup soccer, World Cup, Williams World Cup. It's a solid state, so it's upstairs, and that's should be repaired soon. We're doing a full. I'm getting help from another pinball guy who's local here. His name's John Ross. If you live in the Twin Cities, or maybe even upper near around Hudson, Wisconsin, or something, and you have a pinball machine and you're struggling with something, John is the go-to guy. So
you always have to have a good repairman in the scene. So it sounds like your go-to guy there.
I mean, I worked at Tilt and I had the basics down, but as a board worker, I'm still very, very novice, and especially when you're dealing with original stuff, I prefer to let the experts do that. I don't want to make something irreparable. You know what I mean?
Yep. Like I can do like connectors and pins on boards, but when it comes to diagnosing problems and things like that, I'm like,
diagnosing and making. I couldn't do a bridge for the life of me, dude. You know what I mean? Like when you see them do bridges and things, it's like, nah, not me.
You guys can fix it. Yeah. So that's the lineup. Have you? So you said you haven't been buying anything new. You got some sweet decorations behind you. I see that.
Yeah, I actually some Tilt Cycle. I own a few different pieces of Tilt Cycle art, as well as my beautiful holiday decorations, of course. If you don't have any pinball art, I highly consider Tilt Cycle. You know what? Stop wasting your money on stupid toppers and go get yourself some Tilt Cycle, okay? And Kevin got a sweet Tilt Cycle. He's got a sweet with Atarians playfield art.
Yep, I'm staring at it right now. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
So I have that. I have. Dan's not even a sponsor. We end up talking about him every month. But.
Get you a piece of Dan Burfield. That's all I'm saying.
Just grab a piece of him. Grab a pluck a hair off his head. Whatever you need to do. I've got like a pinball printer's block thing up there. I've got one of his pop bumper things over there. Tilt Cycle everywhere.
Yeah, Tilt Cycle. He just does really legit work, and he'll do commissions. Do you have a favorite machine? He may not be able to do it right now, but if you put it in motion, you'll probably eventually get it. I've seen him finishing some dream jobs for people. Things that I was like, where did you even find the machine to source that with? You know what I mean?
Yeah, like folks will send him like brand new playfields to light up and stuff. It's amazing.
Yeah,
I saw he had a brand new hoops playfield. I was pretty jealous of that.
The hoops one was sweet. Really cool.
If you want a playfield with sweet rat tails on it, you need a hoops.
That's about all I can grow these days, Kevin. That's going to be my hot new hairstyle for 2020. So
just the rat tail, nothing else.
Yeah, just a rat tail dyed blonde, actually.
Well, you are the face of pinball, so you're really a trendsetter. After Pinburg, everybody's going to have that look.
I hope they do. You know what? I hope they do, and I hope the young kids adopted earlier. Escher and all you other kids out there, and Ray Day, you little boy. No, Ray Day's kind of old now, but all you little kids playing, it's rat tail time, all right?
Bring it back. The 80s are back, baby. Rat tails. And parachute pants.
Yeah, absolutely. And Junko jeans. Get ready for them.
That's more 90s, but yes, I'm ready. Bring it back. I think there's still some folks wearing.
They're like $300.
Yeah. All right. Let me. I'll give you an update of what I've been up to. So I got a Jurassic Park since the last time. So that was huge. I did an unboxing video. That's up on YouTube if you want to check it out. Always great when you get a new pinball machine. So I've been updating code on that. I've been doing the Wi-Fi beta stuff with the Jersey Jacks. And then I kind of went nuts for Black Friday. I got from Comet, I got a whole kit for Doctor Who, which I felt obligated to buy because on Facebook they had said, what kit should we do? And then I said Doctor Who, and then they made it. So I was like, oh crap, I got to buy it now. So I did.
So you're LEDing your Doctor Who?
Yeah, it's already got LEDs in it, but they're really bad.
Well, I'm kind of excited for that because that game's, I like the lighting on that to begin with, but with good LEDs, it's like arcades.
Yeah. And they sell it with their kit. You can optionally get the LED OCD, so I got that as well because Doctor Who's got that great fading, those great fading effects, and I want to keep that. So
that's gonna look good.
I'll probably do that on stream. Do the LED upgrades. It's a great winter project, right? It's like I like to just chill out, lay out the LEDs. The Comet kits are cool because they give you a map and it shows you where all the LEDs go, and they do a very good job of color matching. And I've talked about this before, but they use like pink for yellow, which makes no sense but looks amazing when you have it installed. So they put a lot of time and effort, and they have a lot of expertise in lighting. So
and they give you candy too. A lot of people don't know if you buy lighting from them, they will send candy as well.
Yeah, I got some. What did I get? Some Tootsie Rolls and something else. I ate it all already. It's all gone.
No, that's important. Like, if you're ordering pinball parts, what else did you put in there? That's what I'm always wondering, you know?
Exactly.
What else is in there?
So they hooked me up with the shirt. I wore that on Monday. That was pretty cool. It says "Get Lit" on it. What else did I get? Oh, so during Black Friday, they were running a deal where you could pick like a prize if you ordered enough dollars amounts worth of stuff. So what I got was Spotlight Kit, and I put it in Jurassic Park.
Ooh, that's nice.
Because the center of the playfield is dark on that. So I was like, all right, that's a good time to buy. And there you go. So I did that. I also got some stuff from Titan. I got a full, because I figured while I'm LEDing Doctor Who and I have the whole thing torn apart, I might as well put all new rubbers on it. So I'm going to do, I think I have it down here.
Yeah, Titans are nice.
I don't have it down there. I must have stuck it in the machine, but I think I just got all black for Doctor Who because it got like black and yellow on the playfield. So I was like, I'll just stick with that. So I'm going to do that. And then I got orange Titan rings for the flippers on Jurassic Park. It looks really good. So highly recommend if you're trying to pick a color, orange looks good on it. And what else? And then Black Friday. So I kind of hacked this one. During Black Friday, I was poking around and I saw there was voodoo glass for sale on CoinTaker. That's their version of like Invisiglass or PDI glass. And I put it in my cart and I was like, oh man. So it was 2 sheets for $400. And usually like Invisiglass is like $300 a sheet. So
yeah,
I was like, I should buy this. And I'm like, $400 for glass is stupid. Don't buy.
Are you a Rockefeller or something? I mean, $400 for a pane of glass, Kevin? What's going on?
Two panes of glass. $400. This is stupid. I'm not going to do it. And then Skip Nanny's like, I bought it. I was like, damn it.
What?
I should have bought it because especially for streaming, it's really nice. I know I have 1 sheet of standard Invisiglass and it's the one on my dial and I end up moving it all over the place. So I was like, I should just buy it. And then I could leave one on Jurassic Park and I can move the other one around to the game I'm streaming if it's not one of the other ones that already has it. But it was after Black Friday deal was done. But they had sent me an email that said, hey, did you forget to check out after I had put it in my cart? So I clicked that link on Monday. It gave me the price and I still bought it at the Black Friday price. Get hacked. Don't tell Melissa at CoinTaker.
Rockefeller got that glass.
And it arrived and it wasn't broken. So I did it. It looks pretty good too. That was the other thing I was wondering. I was like, well, is it going to be as good as Invisiglass at, a fraction of the price almost, but 2/3 of the price. And it's not quite, I would say it's not quite as clear, but it's definitely does a good job of reducing glare. So I would recommend it, especially for that price. So when you're looking for a glass for your hang glider, definitely throw some voodoo glass on that. Hang tang. All right, what else? Oh, and I got a new Stream Deck, which is here, and I haven't really utilized it much because Rudy Soup can't hear the sound effects, but I'll play this one for Skip Nanny because I know he's in chat.
Jam.
And then I got some air horn. It's all at the ready. I've got wow. And I've got some. And then when Rudy Soup says something really lame, I can play the Price is Right horn. And Rudy can't hear any of it. It's great. And then, of course, we have What's Up Pinball Players.
Yo, what's up, pinball players?
There you go. So I got a new Stream Deck because I had one of the old ones, and it was the 6-button one, and it just did not have enough sound effects at the ready at all times for me. But now I have it, and it's much nicer, and I'm loving it already. This is my first stream with it, and it lets me put a lot more on the home screen, so I don't have to be digging in folders and trying to find stuff while I'm also trying to do a show and produce the show live on the stream. So it helps. It was on sale at Best Buy. I got it for $99. And Rudy Soup bought my old one, and he should have it by Saturday because I shipped it out already. So Rudy Soup's going to have a soundboard at the ready now too.
Am I back yet?
Yeah, you're back.
Oh, actually, I don't think it was Stream Deck. My mic snuck out there for a second.
Oh, there you go. But
sorry about that.
What are you going to be putting in your Stream Deck? What sound effects can we look forward to?
Oh, probably a lot of farts because you remember that fart thing I had going on and it didn't work out. So
the fart button.
There's a few different fart sounds. There's probably going to be some Marty quotes because Marty says really funny stuff. Woody's mad. And maybe some Nick Lang quotes.
Nick Lang. He's my favorite.
He's not even watching, is he? I bet he's not watching this.
I told him he should watch and harass you via chat, but he's not.
Nah.
He's sleeping or something. I don't know.
He doesn't even care.
All right. So for our holiday special and in honor of Rudy Soup, I wanted to do a lightning round of hot topics and hot takes with the soup. Are you ready?
Here we go.
You guys
Here
at
we
home
go.
ready? Are you guys ready? Let's see. What should our sound be for this? It's the more you know with Rudy Soup. All right. So on Pinside over the past few months, I've been keeping track of like threads that have come up to generate some discussion that we can go about. So the first one, Rudy Soup, he left. He's gone. He's gone. He went to use the utility sink.
I'm still here.
Are you using the utility sink, Rudy Soup?
I wasn't peeing in the utility sink now.
Okay, just checking. So the first thread was titled, "Is a slide save cheating? Is a slide save cheating the game?" Rudy Soup.
All right. So we have to define slide save. A slide save, in my mind, is the save that you do that's basically an extension of a slap save, where you might be sliding the front end of a game, but the ball is still in play. I'm sliding it, and the ball is on the play field. It's not in the out lanes. It is not down heading towards the trough. Okay, so that's, in my mind, is a slide save. Yes, a slide save is okay. If you think a slide save is a death save or a bang back or whatever, no, I don't think that's okay at all, and you're ruining people's machines, and you should be ashamed of yourself. And it's not even cool in exhibition, and this is why. Death saves and bang backs aren't cool in exhibition because it gives people the idea that it's okay to walk into an arcade and do that. And I know a lot of arcade owners that will throw you clean out on your butt if you do that to their machines, and they'll make a big show of it too and make you look like a jerk. Additionally, if you tried to do that at like any big tournament, like if you did that at Pinburg, dude, I'm pretty sure they'd eject you from the entire event. So it's just, it might look cool and you might think you're saving the game, but you're not even winning. Like even if you are able to complete the act and get it done and you don't tilt or whatever, you cheated. The pinballs were never designed to give you your ball back in that way, so you cheated. You're not beating anyone. You're beating yourself.
Yeah, to me, like, there's a difference because a slide save is a proactive move, right? You're proactively preventing the ball from draining. If you're death saving or bang backing, the ball, you've already screwed up. The ball's in the outlane or it's in the trough, and you're bringing it back, potentially damaging the game or messing up your wrist. So there's a reason why the IFPA differentiates between a slide save. I remember Josh Sharp doing that awesome slide save on Congo where it's just like, whoop, he moved the game under the ball and he saved it because that's how the tournament director set up the game with the tilt that would allow that. If you don't want that to happen, adjust your tilt accordingly. You're not going to be able to slide save. You're going to have to play it differently. So
yeah, but to your point, there's no amount of tilt that can stop a bang back. Well, I guess there is an amount of tilt because if it tilts when you do it. But I've seen guys who can do it so well that it hardly hits the tilt bobber at all. You know what I mean?
The bang back, you're just like smacking the machine real quick.
Yeah.
And knocking it back in. So I saw somebody put like little those clear like furniture rubbers, like the little, I forget what they're called, but somebody had stuck one on the play field kind of right in between the flippers to prevent that. It was kind of genius.
That is clever.
Yeah. So, I would say slide saves, totally allowed. You know, if you're a tournament director, you don't want people slide saving, set up your games accordingly. If you have people in your house for a league, same thing, tighten up the tilts. But hopefully folks would respect your machines enough to not do that. But yeah, to me, if somebody is playing my games and we're playing in a tournament or in a league and they're not just raging out because they lost the ball and smashing the machine. If they're actively playing it and trying to save the ball, I have zero problems with them sliding the game around, slap saving, smacking the machine up top to get the ball to pop off of a rail so it doesn't have a slingshot. Yeah. All that's cool with me. If you drain and then you rage, not cool. Not cool. Or if you're death saving or banging back to try to save the ball. Because, if you're gonna do a death save, just play with the freaking glass off and pick the ball up and put it back on the flipper. What's the difference?
Why even put the ball in play? Maybe you could just run your fingers over the switches. Yeah. It'd be easier.
Exactly. Make yourself feel better that way.
Yeah, you're a big winner now, aren't you?
That's right.
Death Savers.
All right. Number 2. Downloadable content in pinball machines. So, would you pay for enhanced game code or media add-ons for a pinball machine like you would with Fortnite? Because I know you do that.
I'm going to answer this in 2 stages, quickly, of course. Stage 1, I came to the conclusion recently that a lot of pinball players are not necessarily video gamers, and that's cool. There's nothing wrong with that. But because of that, I changed my opinions on what pinballers would be willing to accept and not accept. Before, if you had asked me this last year, I would have said, "Oh, sure." And to me, I wouldn't care. Yeah, I would pay for extras. Why not? And I saw some threads you had shared with me about this, which thank you for not. Otherwise, this would be a big gotcha. And a lot of people don't feel that way. They think that's a big ripoff. But I'm going to say to the audience what I said to you. I find it interesting that pinball people will spend $750 on an R2D2 topper and hundreds of dollars on mods, but they think that paying for additional cool features on your DMD or your screen that would be over the line. That's $750 R2D2 topper. Fine. You want to charge me $15 so I can have new cool graphics on my DMD? How dare you? How dare you?
Well, I think this came up because of, like, I don't know, probably Pirates and Wonka. People were like, oh, synced audio video. I need to have the movie play while I play my pinball machine. And I think the proposition was, well, if we pay for it, then maybe they'll do it. And I don't think that's the case.
And I have no problem with it. Like I said, especially in pinball. I mean, if you own these things, you're buying these things new in box and whatnot. I mean, as I said, I've watched people mod these things to the hilt, and some of these same people are like, well, I wouldn't pay for that. You know, it's like, well, I don't know, guys. It's
so stupid. Yeah.
It's just an interesting thing.
Drop $140 on a shooter rod, or $40 on. I do this crap. I bought the little like Raptor pen for my Jurassic Park. It looks great. But it was like $40 or $50.
Really cool.
It's like, why wouldn't you do that for software updates? I mean,
I was playing the LE the other day, and your Raptor pen is cooler than the LE's one with your update.
Yeah. It's like, I wouldn't want it for base code, right? Regular game rules, stuff like that, but maybe enhanced or different gameplay options. Think of like the super game on Judge Dredd, or on the P3, the Secret Agent Showdown, where it's like, just go for the multi-ball. Or, you know, mini wizard modes like that, or mini like different ways to play the existing game you already have. I think that's cool, and that's something that if it was $10-15, hell yeah.
I mean, if you pose it the way that this is all stuff that you're not paying to have us just feed you garbage, like you're paying for IP. So, like you said with Wonka, people want the syncing, and then they want more music, they want more of the quotes. Fine, this is how we might be able to do it, but. You know, it might be 100 or 200 more to open up that IP. Well, you don't mind. Like I said, you don't mind when it's a physical mod. Why would you mind if it's part of it's all part of the experience, isn't it? Or no? Am I missing something?
I don't know. To me, it is. I think the trouble, maybe not the trouble, but the differentiator is like old school pinball players versus younger pinball players who are maybe used to playing Xbox and paying for DLC, and folks who just want like the games on the playfield, and I don't care about anything else that happens aside from maybe the audio, because I can hear that while I'm playing.
And it should be worth it though too. I'm not saying just pay for any old thing or just present any old thing. Like as you know from video gaming, like if the DLC sucks, they'll crucify the companies who are releasing it. You know, you don't get away for just charging for anything. So
well, yeah, and the same with like incomplete code when games come out. Think of like No Man's Sky when that came out. People freaked because they promised it to the world, and it was like a shell of a game that came out. So the video game world and pinball world, they have a lot of parallels. So I see, especially with internet connectivity coming to games and stuff, I think they're going to do it. They're going to monetize that.
Why not?
I know. All right, and so the last thing, this was a request by our friend Pinball Joe. He put a post in Club Pinball, which is a group that he administers on Facebook, and the gist of the post was, you know, if you've ever played in a tournament, inevitably everybody does it at least once. You're gonna plunge somebody else's ball by mistake, you're going to play an extra ball. You're going to not be paying attention to what turn it is, step up and plunge the ball. And he was making the argument that it shouldn't be the player who plunges the ball's responsibility. It should be the player who left the extra ball on the table's responsibility because he had more to lose. The player that left the extra ball there had more to gain than the other person. Right? Did I get that?
Yeah.
So what do you think? Whose fault should it be? Should it be everybody's fault? Or should we just keep it the way it is?
Well, and I think that the other thing that he had implied too is that there should be fault in the person who had the extra ball, and B, that the person who plunged it, there should be consequence, but DQ shouldn't be it. There should be some other thing. And to me, I actually have never done that. I've made the mistake. The only thing I've done wrong, and this is something that apparently this is actually the thing that I did wrong at Pinburg, is the best thing to do wrong, because when you do it, it's everyone else's fault, not yours. Even though I screwed it up, it's everyone else's fault that I did it. I did one of those where it was a 4-player game, and I started one person and just started playing, and the other 4 weren't in, and I drained out, and they didn't know, and so they weren't loaded in for the game. But according to Pinburg rules or IFPA rules, they have to watch you, and if you don't put all the if they don't watch you put the credits in, and you just start the game, that's the people around you's fault, not yours. So now, but that changed the way I play. Now I always go first, and when I put the credits in, I look around and make sure everybody is watching me when I do it. So
it's the same thing with playing out of turn, right? You're like, oh my god, that was the stupidest thing I've ever done. Why wasn't
extra ball thing seems kind of pointless to me. I actually agree with Joe in the point where the person who lost the extra ball, that could just be played as start at the end of the whole thing, start a new game, and let that guy who had the extra ball have one more ball, add the score in. Done. Seems pretty simple to me. Now, if you could prove malicious intent, if you could say, oh yeah, no, these are all pro players, everyone's watched, he just watched up and he laughed when he did it and stuff, and he's like, then yeah, no, DQ, fine. If this was intentionally just to try and exploit rules, but yeah, it seems to me like it's funny because a lot of the IFPA rules, I just explained one to you where the player I screwed up, but the people I was playing with are the ones who I don't get penalized. I get to restart the game. I'm not DQ'd at all.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, and the same thing with an extra ball. That could be replayed. Joe brought up the idea that if you play out a turn, that's a totally different thing. You just changed the entire dynamic of the game.
Right.
You stole someone's ball.
Right.
So, but an extra ball, it's an extra ball. It could occur whenever. You know what I mean?
So yeah, it's the instant DQ always seemed like way extreme for me. Now it's like just like, well, that's what you do because that's what you do. That's the rule.
You get scared of it. Yeah, you ingrain in your head. You're like, just don't play until everyone says it's okay. So.
And then if you see somebody else do it, you're like, oh shit, you're in trouble. But yeah, maybe I don't know. It seems like in certain situations you could do it in a way that's
with the people you play with. That helps too. Like I find when I'm friendlier with people around me that if you start to make a mistake, the group will call you out.
Yep.
They'll say, stop, don't do it, because everyone wants to help each other.
Yeah.
You know?
And then there's folks who say you shouldn't do that because then you're influencing the outcome of the game. And it's tournament pinball. It's hard, man. It's hard being a tournament director because there's so many weird situations. Like pinball can do weird things because it's a physical game. Balls can get stuck. Things can hop over flippers, and that's BS. It's like, well, it's just pinball. Sorry. So, I think in a lot of that thread, people were like, well, it's your fault. You plunged the ball, and that's what folks are trained to do. So, I don't know. I don't have a good answer.
Most of the people that I saw say that were the pinball diehards.
Yeah.
It was the old school, and it's people, and I won't even blame them because the stories I've heard from historic, from 10, 15 years ago about the things people would do to cheat, I can see it makes people very wary, and it's easier to have very rigid rules. That way nobody messes around. But to Joe's point, it does seem like it's excessive punishment on one side, and there are other parties involved that are completely absolved of any responsibility, even though it's supposedly their thing being taken. You know what I mean?
Right. And it's But this happened. Somebody played my extra ball in a recent tournament. He's a newer player. Like, he plays in our league, but he's not a diehard tournament player or anything like that. I felt really bad for him. I was like, I'm sorry. You just played my ball. It's like, this is what we have to do, though. It's like,
we have to throw you out of the entire tournament and strip you of your IFPA ranking. You're the unclean now. I'm sorry.
I brought up the Papa rules. I was like, Doug Polka says we have to do this. I'm sorry.
Thanks, Doug.
Thanks, Doug. Good job.
If it persists or it doesn't, I'll be honest with you, and this is going to sound weird coming from me. It's nice to have rules in place because at least we have something then,
Yeah. Otherwise, it's just anarchy.
It becomes pinball anarchy, pinball circus.
All right. Shall we talk about Jurassic Park?
I can't wait.
All right. Watch this hot intro in the meantime.
Let's go.
Looking good already, dude. I never even saw this part of it.
Rudy never watches the show.
Keith, you did such a great job on this thing. Oh, that's the Buffalo. Never mind. That's the Buffalo. I thought that was Jurassic Park. It looked so good.
Oh, that's Jurassic Park. So Jurassic Park is a 2019 release from Stern Pinball, designed by Keith Elwin, art by Jonathan Bergeron, a.k.a. Johnny Crap, software by Rick Nagel, and sound by Jerry Thompson. The pricing on this is MSRPs are $59.99 for a Pro, $75.99 for a Premium, and $89.99 for a limited edition Jurassic Park. Would you look at that? So there's the three models. The Pro on the left, Premium in the middle, LE on the right. Three sexy looking games, all different unique art packages. The Pro has the greenish look. The Premium has the orangish look, and the LE has the bluish look. And there you go. So let's start out by talking about the art. Reese, what do you think of the art on Jurassic Park?
It's gorgeous. They did a good job with it. I usually think that pinball art, I complain about it being so commercial. It's not that it's not commercial, but it's good. I mean, they hit the theme right on the head. They did a great job. Cheers to them on that one.
Yeah, it's all dinosaurs. It's the only actual character from the let's see if I got a close-up of him here. I don't. By the left outlane, you can kind of see him in that one, is Nedry. So you got Nedry there, but otherwise it's all dinosaurs, and mostly there's a big map of the island in the center of the playfield. It's very jungle looking.
Yeah, earth tones. It's nice.
I love it. I know some people, art sucks, but I look at that compared to, like, I don't know, a Zombie Yeti game. I wouldn't say it's quite at the level of a Zombie Yeti game, but it's the hand-drawn custom art that I want to see on a pinball machine, bottom line.
It's perfect for this. You know, every application needs something that's going to fit hand in glove, and they did. This is, in my opinion, the best way to do this game. I mean, it's going to, even if you're not a pinball person, this art will give you that Jurassic Park appeal.
Right. And Nedry on the playfield actually has fingers now, so it's a huge plus.
I mean, they ruined that, but whatever,
I did the a little side note. I did the on Instagram. You could do the top 9 posts of the year. So I did that for Buffalo, and the number 1 post was where I compared the fingers of Nedry on the old Jurassic Park to the new one, where he's got like the little stumps on the old one, and he actually has fingers on this one. So that tells you all you need to know. But nobody says the art on the old Jurassic Park is bad.
That's actually good too. I mean, it sounded like that was just kind of a flub, right?
Yeah, well, it just seems like, oh, here's Nedry, and then he's got fingers. It's like I would do in junior high or something. This is just not an area of priority for them, I guess, back in the Data East days.
There was supposed to be a pop bumper there, but then they took it out at the end, and they had to have some guy on the factory floor just kind of draw the hand in.
Grab that marker and give him fingers real quick. All right. So that's the art. It looks great. Good job, Johnny Crap. So next is the sound. And of all the great things about Jurassic Park, I would say sound is not one of them. Well, call-outs are not great. The music is great. It's got the John Williams score when you start up the game, and it's got cool sound effects and music. The helicopter when you hit the helicopter spinny thing. It makes cool left-right sound effects. But yeah, not so much with the callouts because they have. Well, it does have a good tilt warning to what's his toes points. It says So they have the Nedry doing that when you tilt. Well, when you get a warning at least. And then, but they have really not good voice actors to reenact some of the key lines from the movies. When he says, like, hold on to your butts. It's like, doesn't sound anything like Samuel Jackson. And maybe they were just like, let's not even try because you can't do it. But you want Samuel Jackson.
Honestly, it might be to the point where if you make it sound close enough, they'll go for the copyright infringement anyway. Well, they're like, well, it isn't Samuel L. Jackson, but you certainly tried to make it sound like you were doing a budget version of it. So
yeah, no, not so much. Lord Howard Hertz in chat says the Dr. Hammond impersonation sounds like Professor Farnsworth. Why would you do this? Why would you do this? It's when I play it, I'm like,
comment on the audio. It was so loud when I've played it at tilt, like because all the other machines are really loud too. That you don't hear much. So
yeah, playing it on location versus playing it in your house. Yeah, you really, that's for the best. That's the best way to play Jurassic Park. The good news is, much like with Guardians of the Galaxy, which had the terrible Bobbly Bobo and all that stuff. Never forget the Bobbly Bobo, right? Folks on Pinside are recreating the audio package using Pinball Browser. And so I've already seen some video of like the real Samuel L. Jackson in there and the real Welcome to Jurassic Park and all that stuff. So Pinside to the rescue, pinball community to the rescue. They're making it happen. At least with audio on certain machines, we can fix it. If there's one thing that's bad in a pinball machine, I would want it to be the sound because in a Stern game, because the folks, the community can make it better. Usually,
I'm going to report you guys to Steven Spielberg.
Tell me.
Just going to let you know right ahead now. But tell him where to find you.
All right, so let's talk about the toys. And oh man, this has one of the best toys in recent pinball history. The main one is the dinosaur, the T-Rex, especially on the premium LE. He's just a static thing on the Pro. He just sits there. But on the premium LE, he eats the ball and he throws it around. And oh my god, I love it. It's got an amazing toy. The other things are, it's got the truck, which is, it's not like motorized or anything like that, but it's got two captive balls that let you interact with the truck and turn it side by side. And based on the way the truck is facing, that's how you navigate through the map on the playfield. So as simple as this is, I really love it. And I love that it affects the gameplay in such an interesting way. To me, that's a really video gamey kind of thing, and I like it. The other thing is the Raptor pen. Let me see right there. This is another big differentiator between the Pro and the Premium /LE. On the Pro, there's no gate there. If you're listening, there's a stand-up target that comes up. Think of like Avatar or Tron or Attack from Mars, the raising bank that comes up in front of like the spaceship on Tron or on Attack from Mars. It's got a small one of those. On the Premium LE, it will trap the ball in there and then you bash it around in there and then eventually it comes out for a multi-ball. On the Pro, there's a hole in the back left of the Raptor gate and it comes out there and it'll stage the ball and trap it there. There's actually a second up post in the Premium LE too that traps it right in there. So that's a big game changer in gameplay between the Pro. On the Pro, I was playing it in a tournament and I would just sit there and backhand that until I started the multi-ball. On the Premium, you can't do that because you're going to die. if you're hammering away at that bank that comes up, it's going to kill you. It's going to shoot it to the right out lane most of the time, especially if you shoot it from the right flipper. Backhanding is a little safer. So big gameplay difference there. And then the other main difference, let me see. Well, right there, you can see the helicopter on the right. That on the Premium LE, the helicopter blades spin when you plunge the ball or shoot that little turnaround ramp there on the right. It adds a cool little effect. It doesn't really affect gameplay that much. It's not something that you're going to shoot for intentionally, but it's a fun like mechanical thing that happens when you do something in the game, which is pretty cool. So I think the toys are great on this. What do you think?
They're cool. The toys, especially for Stern, I feel like they had hit an era there for a while where they were blowing me away with their games like Tron and Walking Dead, and they were doing stuff where it's like, God, these toys are just like so many and well placed and really interesting. And then I felt like we hit a drought for a while there. Like even in the premiums, and like Guardians of the Galaxy is a great one. Like those Groot hands, man, that was the big deal to have an LE, to have these hands that you couldn't see through. We ended up taking them out where I was at. So it was like, for a while there, I was like, God, these LEs just aren't doing it for me, none of the toys or anything. And Jurassic Park, it's back to that again. It's got a bunch of different things going on, especially with the LE and the premium. But the toys are nice even in the Pro. They're still, I mean, even though they aren't necessarily all working, they still stuck toys in there, so you're still getting a little bit of that feel. I don't know. I think they did a really good job with JP. You could tell they were kind of excited about that project, in my opinion.
I mean, even look at something like AC/DC or even Iron Maiden. Yeah. There's not much for toys. The premium LE's got the little sarcophagus thing that locks the ball, but it's not like a huge like. You step up to Jurassic Park, you can't miss that dinosaur. I
feel like I don't know, but I would guess he might have had to push even for that. You know what I mean? And once I think Stern figured out, like, let this guy do the toys because he gets it and they're great. So, because the Iron Maiden thing was good too. Like once people saw it, like we had the LE obviously, and that whole gate thing, that, like you said, when the Pro and the LEs and premiums are that different in gameplay. I almost always defer to the LEs and premiums. You know what I mean? Like right. The only one that I can think of in recent memory where I was like, yeah, I'll take the Pro is Game of Thrones because of the flow thing. Yeah. But other than that, yeah, the toys are great. The toys are great. So,
Ray Day's calling you out in chat. He says Tron has a toy.
What, Tron has a toy? Ray Day, I'm sorry, buddy, that you didn't get that cool. Tron has this toy you have to buy. It's a mod, but it's like that little arcade game, and it works in there. It has the little Tron going on in the toy. It's so cool.
He's got you there. Boogie says Star Wars was also an epic fail for toys, considering the theme. Absolutely.
I guess, does the disc not count as a toy? Is that just a mech?
It's just like, It's like whatever. Yeah. It's a spinny thing.
I guess Tron doesn't have toys.
No.
It doesn't it have, I guess it doesn't have the little fake arcade thing though. I thought that was the only toy.
Well, in the stock one is really lame. You have to buy the good one.
I guess all I've seen is modded Trons. My bad on the Tron. I didn't realize that the Pro unmodded is that bad. So
yeah, you need the mods on the Tron. TIE Fighter on a spring. Who can forget that? So many good toys recently. But we're not talking about all those games tonight. We're talking about Jurassic Park, which is amazing, and it has really good toys. So, good job, Keith Elwin and crew. What's next? The display and lighting. So, display is the LCD screen, which I think on this game is Stern's best so far. It's all so. No, well, here's something I want to say. Look at a game like Pirates. Everybody freaked out that there's no movie clips. Where's the movie clips? I want to see Johnny Depp. I want to see Elizabeth Swann. I want to see everybody. Jurassic Park, no movie clips. And they're like, nobody's making a big deal about it. I'm not seeing anybody, like, originally it was like, oh, they should have the movie clips. But nobody's freaking out because they have video game graphics, I guess. I don't know.
My thoughts are that the old movie clips are so old now that the CGI's, like, people don't want it. It's so trashy. It would make it look worse. You know what I mean? Like, it's almost better to have them kind of mock it up modern. Because I watched the original Jurassic Park, and as awesome as it is, it's like green screen city, dude.
Yeah.
It really is. Like,
I know.
I don't know how you clean those old clips up. I really don't. So, without spending a bunch of money and obviously getting the IPs enough, why would you want to load more in? And also Steven Spielberg, I guess. But people watch Jurassic Park for the dinosaurs, right? Isn't that it?
I thought so. Like, when I was a kid, it was like dinosaurs. I don't care about the rest of the stuff. Show me the dinosaurs, T-Rex, eating the guy that's on the toilet, all that stuff. It's like,
they delivered that.
And I love the display on this game. I think they did a really good job. I think maybe some of the typography needs a little tweaking, but other than that, even like the high score screen doesn't have the lame, like, plain text, white text on a black background stuff that they've done, even on their LCD screen stuff. So they've really stepped it up, and I'm glad to see it. And that, honestly, was one of the other things that helped push me over to buy this game. It's like, looks great, game's fun, the display is really good. So there was like one less thing to be like, ugh, do I really want to look at that the whole time? So I think it's great.
Yeah. It's a nice. It's a really nice game.
Yeah. So as far as the lighting, It's got an interesting light show. It doesn't like knock my socks off, but it's also does some neat stuff where it like shuts the lights all off or flashes things in interesting patterns. It doesn't have, I think of like Dialed In when I shoot the ramp and the lights follow the ball around the playfield. That's really awesome. But so I don't have moments like that I've really paid attention to or noticed. So nothing that's really stood out, but it has some cool moments in it at least.
I played it a lot, but I didn't really pay much attention to the light show. I mean, it seemed good. There wasn't anything that I saw that was bad about it. So
yeah, it's like cool. It's good, above average is what I would give it as far as a light show. All right, gameplay. So gameplay. Why don't you start with the gameplay? You go.
It's amazing. I mean, this dude is all about the shots. I mean, I've said this before. Like, I feel like Keith Elwin's like pinball distilled. You know what I mean? Like, he's an amazing tournament player. He, I believe he was, doing some operating when he worked with arcade, the pinball arcade he was involved with in L.A.
Oh, I'm not sure. Was it the 82?
82.
Yeah.
Was Archer, became Iron Maiden. Like, this guy gets pinball on all levels. Like, all of it. And to the point where when we had to work on Iron Maiden, I didn't work on Jurassic Park, but I assume it's the same way. They're easy to maintain on the underside as well. They're very thoughtful where they place things. But yeah, the shots. Oh my goodness, Kevin. I mean, there's so many different ways to combine combinations on this. Things get really, really busy. But at the same time, it's manageable and kind of exciting. It builds the excitement. I don't know. This guy, I don't know if there's a game he could make that would have bad shots. It's really fun to play.
Yeah,
in that regard.
It does one of the hardest things to do. I think it does a unique layout. It's not your standard fan layout, but it's still fun to shoot. Not all the shots are easy. I think it's a mix of easy and harder shots. I think the right ramp is in a weird spot. Sometimes I can nail it. Sometimes I just brick out of it. And then the O shot, the right orbit is really tight. And sometimes, again, it's if you hit it and you nail it and it feels really great. And I like when if you nail that shot and it returns it to the upper flipper and you flip the upper flipper and then it shoots around the ramp, the tower ramp. It's like, oh my God, that was amazing. So I've had like 5 or 6 way combos on this. And then I have other times where I'm just bricking stuff. So, but there's always like, you can always kind of bail out to the spinner or the left ramp. Those are like your safe shots. And then the other shots are kind of varying degrees of difficulty from there, I think. The Raptor pen tends to be death, especially on the premium LE. And the C and the S targets on the far sides are tough. They're like end of flipper kind of shots, but once you kind of get them figured out, I think the control room shot is a little easier than the S shot with the turnaround ramp, but they're difficult but findable, to quote our friend Steve Bowden.
I would agree with that assessment.
There you go. All right, what's next? The rules. How far did you get into the rules when you were playing this on location? What's your understanding of the game?
I got through a lot of the basic stuff. Got T-Rex going, got Chaos going. None of that stuff that you guys have gotten into really deep. But I was playing tournament too, so it was a little different.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I got T-Rex going, which was really satisfying and kind of wild. And then Chaos too. Yeah. That I wouldn't have known about that though. I had a tip from a top 100 player who's here in Minnesota, Chris Frame, had pulled aside and he's like, you got to do Chaos in order, and then you can get this crazy thing going. And then I did it. And once he told me what to do, that was actually that's the things that I did were super satisfying. So, and based on what I've heard, that's what this is so cool about this game. The farther you get, it gets more exciting as you go along. So
yeah, I was listening to this Flippin' podcast, and they were Tommy was talking about how he played in a tournament and he was playing with like 2 other people, and everybody did different strategies, and they all ended up with very close competitive scores. So you can go control room modes. You can go through paddocks to try to get to visitor center. You can do the T-Rex modes. You can go multi-balls. There's a lot of different ways you can go when you step up to the game, which keeps the game, especially in a home environment, really interesting. So I've been playing a lot for paddocks, trying to get to visitor center, and I've done it a couple times. But if I'm not making progress through that for some reason, I'd be like, I'll try to do control room modes, or I'll try to do T-Rex, or if I'm not hitting my shot, I'll be like, I can change my strategy and go for something else. So I like it. I like a game that gives you options and that gives you multiple ways to approach it depending on how you feel like playing or how you tend to be playing that day, or if you just want to try something new.
So are there mini wizard modes and then a major wizard mode, or how? Because I've heard you guys talk about the various like end game kind of stuff. Like what is there minis, or are they different wizard modes, or what?
Yeah, so like the main wizard mode is not in there yet.
Okay.
It's whatever the island name is. Like ruling the island. That one's not in there yet. But there's one for doing the control room modes. I think that was control room chaos. I think there's visitor center is another mini wizard mode. There's one for doing all the T-Rex modes, and there's like for beating certain paddocks, you can get mini wizard mode too. So there's a lot of extra little modes in there along the way to kind of. It's like the little like cookie on a stick to keep you going, dangling it out there. You're like, oh, you can get it next time. You're almost there. Come back and do it again.
That's not I don't mind when they release a game like that. If the code's not complete, but it gives you teasers like that, and it almost makes the wizard mode when they do release it kind of even more exciting. At least you get a lot of gameplay and you get a good feel for it. That's cool.
Yeah, there's a lot in there, and it's not just like standard modes and multi-balls, which a lot of Sterns are. They've got kind of a framework for their games where, here's your X number of modes, here's a couple multi-balls, and you're good to go. This is how you play this game. Here, there's branching paths, and even like doing the paddocks, you can take different paths through it every time, or you can try to do them all on your way, or you can try to make a beeline right to visitor center. So even in that one section, you can take a lot of different routes. And it actually, to me, it feels like you're progressing through the island in the game. It's very immersive. It's very, very well executed. Keith has really got it dialed in when it comes to modes and gameplay rules and things like that. All right, so let's go to Last Ability. So it's only a game's only been out a little while, a couple months now. I've had mine for about a month, but to me, all the things we were just saying about the rules point to a game that's going to last. It's not just one path to the end. There's different things you can do, different ways you can approach it. I think this is a game that you're going to get and you're going to hang on to for a while.
Yeah, it has value in so many different regions. To me, it's a game you could have for if you had a family, and I could see I've seen kids like when I play on location, kids love this thing. It appeals to pretty much anyone above my age, below my age. Everybody knows what Jurassic Park is. Most people have pretty good feelings about the movie. Most people are open to playing a machine like that. And even though it obviously the gameplay can be deep and complicated, it's satisfying to low-level players too. I see people really like to sit on it, and it feeds them just enough to keep them wanting to try for more. So
yeah, the T-Rex multi-ball is in there. It's like everybody can do this.
Yeah, exactly.
You step up into the game, you're like, I want to put the ball in the T-Rex's mouth. You know what I mean? It's sure. Like that. I want to see that.
Interesting. Yeah, no, you're right. They made that so accessible in a way where it's the thing that people are going to flock to first. That and the pen on the LE or the premium were the first two things that's like, these are places it's telling me I should try for. But as you said, I learned after the first shot that pen's crazy dangerous.
Yeah. Well, and talking about T-Rex multi-ball, it's a gimme multi-ball, but Keith has built in like two extra like if you own this game or you're an advanced player, it's like, oh, if I hit all the orange shots before I hit the T-Rex, then my jackpots are going to be worth a lot more. So it's got that awesome risk reward there. And it's also got, once you're in the multi-ball, if I hit the shots in order, follow the red arrow around, then I get way more points than I would if I was just hitting jackpots randomly. So it's got that next level thinking, that next level stuff for the advanced player all along the way. And Skip Natty and Chad mentioned, like, we haven't even talked about DNA combos or collecting the fossils. There's a lot to do in this game. And so even if you get great at it, you get it dialed in, there's always that next level of challenge for you, waiting for you there. Skip Natty. Sure. All right. So before we give it our final ratings, let's go to the website here. And I'll run it down here. Where is it? Oh, God. I can never find it. Interact. This is what I want. All right.
The rundown.
We're going to go down to the score key. And so, all right, this is how we rate games, like it or not. 0 to 2 is a burn it. 3 to 5 is an expensive nightlight. 6 to 8 is a solid game. And 9 to 10 is get your wallets out. Rudy Soup, what's your number rating for this game?
And I'm going to do this if I had unlimited money to burn. And as you guys know from the past, I am extremely critical of games. I'm going to give this an 8.
Nice. So it's a high-end solid game for Rudy Soup.
Yeah, it's almost get your wallet out, but like I'm still kind of on the fence on that. But that's me being highly critical too. 8. I think that's awfully generous, honestly. So not to Jurassic Park, just from me. So
exactly. So you got an 8 from Rudy Soup. You're doing something right. So for me, I think it's obvious. I got my wallet out. This game is a 9 or a 10. I'm going to put it at a 9. I think it's got the potential to be a 10. There's still a couple little things that keep it from being a 10. Mostly the call-outs. It's not. That's like the one flaw of the game. But yeah, otherwise it checks all the boxes it gets. Got great rules, great art, awesome layout, great toys. Almost perfect. Almost a perfect game. Let's re-record those call-outs, and then I'll give you a 10. How about that?
There you go.
There you go.
All takes from Kevin.
Right.
Recording the call-outs. Get all of those actors. Get Jeff Goldblum in Stern Studios today.
Awesome. Well, this is where we would normally do Q&A, but nobody wanted to ask you any questions, Rudy.
That's fine. I bear all constantly. So
Chat room, who's got a question for Rudy? We'll pull one from the chat. But in the meantime, I'll do the close, and then if there's any questions, we'll answer them at the end. So be sure. First off, thank you so much for Rudy Sue for stepping in and being our special holiday guest.
Thanks for having me.
Really enjoyed having you here. Love having you on the team. You are the face of pinball, so it's really an honor. Look at that. Look at that face. Don't forget to follow us on all our social media. We're on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and there's also a Steam group that we don't really use. But instead, you should come over to Discord because we got one of those. If you got questions, feedback, I will say we've gotten some awesome iTunes reviews lately. So huge thank you to anybody that can do that. It's a good way to support the show. Go down there and throw a review on iTunes. It helps people find the show. So if you want to support us on Twitch, you can do that by following us or subscribing to the Twitch channel. If you have Amazon Prime, you can do that at no extra charge and throw us some money and take it from Jeff Bezos and give it to us. Rudy Soup gets some of that. I get some of that. Skip Natty gets some of that. Well, give us all a little bit of Jeff Bezos' money. And then Nick Lane set up a Patreon. Some folks like to support us over on patreon.com/Buffalo Pinball. When we don't always do a poll for what game to review. Like this month, we definitely wanted to review Jurassic Park. But when it's up in the air, we throw that on Patreon and also to our Twitch subscribers to vote. So you get a little input into the show for supporting the show. And now if you throw bits like Kyle Bassa did, you can get special fancy emotes too. So, all right. I think we have some questions for Rudy Soup.
Yes, sir.
Let's see. Rudy.
Yes, sir.
On the same scale, where would you rate Harlem Globetrotters?
Oh, man, 10.
Oh, Rudy Soup gives it a 10.
Get it now. Get it now. Harlem Globetrotter is such a training machine. Like, if you're a pinball player and you're like, God, I suck at solid states, I want to get really good at them, and I need a real Mr. Miyagi in my life, that's your Harlem Globetrotters. That's a 10.
There you go.
Absolutely.
Hazemaker wants to know where Surf City is.
Oh, here we come.
What's the ratio at Surf City, though?
Surf City, what's the ratio?
Yeah, it's 2-1. It's 2-1 at Surf City.
That's right. I forgot about that. Because every guy gets 2 surfer girls. That's right. Sorry. Okay.
So Siggy Sauer wanted to know what a 10 game to you was, Rudy. That was Harlem Globetrotters. What else is a number 10 for you?
I'm trying to think of a modern thing that would fit that. Like Pirates, probably. I don't even own one. And I'm not like, Jersey Jack doesn't pay me to say that, but Pirates is a 10. If you really play, I'm not saying that if you walk up and play it, you're going to feel that way, but if you play it for 10 hours or something, you probably will.
Yeah.
So
It's a great game. Cardboard Live wants to know what a paddock is.
Oh, a paddock, it's a thing that you put dinosaurs in. It's kind of it's a dinosaur cage.
Okay. It's a larger cage for dinosaurs to roam, right?
Yeah, it's probably electrified.
PB underscore undesirables wants to know who the ass of pinball is, if you're the face.
I'm not allowed to say on this podcast, but check out the Rudy Soup Twitch stream, and I'll tell you all about it.
There you go. Twitch.tv/Rudy Soup, and you'll get the answer to that one. Good reviews only. How many bits for left flipper? More than you've given, Hayes. Anything else? 2 to 1 alligators to people? No. Is it 19 or 20? What do you rate Johnny Mnemonic?
7.
7. That's fair. Okay. All right. And with that, have a joyous holiday season. Have a wonderful new year. If Rudy Soup passes the test, he'll be back with us in 2020. If not, you'll find him just on the cover of Pinball Magazine because he's the face of pinball.
Who's that? Who knows who's going to be next? Hot Buffalo Boy.
You never know.
You
Could be next. Gotta keep you on your toes.
It could be you.
Could be you. All right. Well, hang on. Let me do. What do we got? And we'll play out with this. Good night, everybody. Thanks for watching.
Bye. I need that utility sync real bad.